Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS slate breakdown for the Wednesday main slate. This is the afternoon slate. I know there is a double slate day. We got the early, we got the night slate. I love these kind of days where we got all day baseball. Now let's dive into it. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann. Come join us at LineStar. We do have a free trial through the app stores, Android or iOS. You can get a 7-day free subscription. Gives you access to the website, the apps. You get it all for all the sports we cover. Now, let's dive in. And what do you have to lose? Come try us out. We're going to start off by going through the perfect lineups from yesterday, then the winning lineups, then to jump into today's slate where there's 5 games on DraftKings, 7 scheduled games on FanDuel. However, there is the chance it could only be 5 on FanDuel as well. And with that, we will look at the pitchers and stacks to consider. Starting off on DraftKings, perfect lineup yesterday went to Logan Evans and Carlos Rodon. Rodon was a chalky pitcher and ended up where you needed to have him. He went absolutely nuts. Hitting-wise, the perfect lineup is all one-offs, which is kind of rare. There's usually some sort of stack. And just to point this out, you can do your own research here and look at the way the perfect data comes out here. So yesterday's slate was an 11-game slate. So if we search to the large slates, 11 to 15, then we have 8 lineups here to go off. So it's just taking over the last 30 days. There's been 8 times where we've had 11 to 15 game slates, and it just kind of breaks down different lineup constructions, how much is the average salary at each position, and the average stacking and whatnot. Now, understand that you can get through with more stacking than this is showing, but the perfect lineup does consistently show stacking, so we should be stacking as well. And more so than what we're seeing with the perfect lineup data, just because there's always a huge gap between first place and the perfect lineup. Like, look at yesterday. 288.75. The winning lineup on DraftKings was at 210.65. We had BS Golfer 7 win and then Big T 44 win. Congrats to them. The lineups, 2 chalky pitchers. Houston, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man stack. And then a 2-man Seattle and a 1-off with Jung here. So the old 5-2-1. It is the most profitable lineup construction we've seen for the last few years, and it continues to be. BS Golfers lineup, slightly different, but still 2 chalky pitchers. They had a 5-man Seattle stack with Houston or 2-man Houston, 1-off with Atlanta, or with the A's, Athletics. I wanted to say Atlanta because I saw the ATH. But 2 lineups. They were different, ended up with the same score, so we got a split winner. Congrats to those 2. Now let's check what we got on FanDuel yesterday. Perfect lineup wise. Chalky pitcher, Carlos Rodon, 2-man Pittsburgh stack, and then 1-offs. And just like DraftKings, you can do the same thing over here where you can look at what we got. Look, there's 3 2 stacks, 2 2 stacks regularly in these perfect lineups on the big slates. So you should probably stack as well. The winning lineup went to Jay Moore, 3903, who had Rodon, had a 4-3 with Houston and Seattle, and a 1-off of Yelich, who hit a grand salami to win the game. A walk-off grand salami, also won it for Jay Moore. So congrats to the winners today. And let's move on to these perfect lineup, or the lineups for today, to see what we can uncover. So, starting on DraftKings, our high-owned pitchers, we got George Kirby, 37% owned. Look, Kirby is a complete stud, And at 8,500, I definitely like him. My worry, he only went 72 pitches last game. He was allotted like a 75 to 80 pitch limit last game. Now, I would expect this next game that to be a little bit higher. I have not yet seen what it is, but if he was at 75, 80, he could definitely be up to 85, maybe 90 this week. And that's really where he is generally. Over his last 20 starts, he's at 90. So even if he's only at 85, you know, he has at least enough leash here to give him the ceiling that we're used to out of him. He is efficient. He can work deep into games on limited pitches. So definitely interested in him at 8,500 here versus this Nationals team. Next, we got Clark Schmidt, 7,700, 35% owned. Look, Clark Schmidt gives some big-time upside in this spot. His K rate's decent, 24.4 over the last 20, 25.9 over the last 5. The StatCast data is a little bit scary, and this Angels team can hit versus righties. 253 average, 193 ISO, hit the ball hard. They get on base, 334 WOBA, but strike out at 26%. And that is the case here, is that we can absolutely attack these Angels because there is upside in that strikeout department. Don't love that he is 26% owned, or 35% owned, but very much interested in a little bit of Clark Schmidt. It's only a 5-game slate, so there's not a whole lot of pitchers to choose from, and he's one of the guys I'm interested in. Next, we got Hunter Brown, 9K, 31% owned. Hunter Green has been on a tear this season. You know, of his last 5 starts, 3 of them weren't very good, but outside of that, he has been lights out all season. 3.26 FIP over his last 20, 30.7% K rate. In the last 5, he does have a 5.51 FIP. However, we know that's just not really him. I would expect he bounces back a little bit, but he has been worse away. 32% less fantasy points away. Just so happens that 2 of his 3, sub 20 performances have been when he is away. I don't read all that much into it. I think it's probably slightly overblown. I'm interested in some Hunter Green hit this spot, 25.5% combined K rate. The Royals, not that scary of an offense. However, they don't strike out a ton. That ISO is low, but the average is decent. I think it really comes down to just how good is Green about keeping guys off base, just because this Royals team can steal some bags. Green has been a little prone to allowing some steals. But all in all, I think Hunter Green's in an interesting spot, and I'm going to have some of him. He is our highest projected. He is the second highest consensus projected. I think he warrants having in your lineup. Next, we got Matthew Boyd, 8,300. Lefty versus the Colorado Rockies is always a spot that we like, especially away from Colorado. 244 average, 148 ISO, 308 WOBA. Not numbers that strike fear. Those are the splits for the Rockies. Meanwhile, Boyd been solid. 3.68 FIP over his last 20, 3.63 over the last 5. He has some strikeout upside of 25.6% K rate, and the Rockies striking out a ton versus lefties. So he makes a ton of sense at 27.2 combined K rate, and I will probably have a lot of Boyd in this spot at these prices. Think it's a very, very interesting spot, and that he's probably going slightly under-owned at only 27%. Yusei Kikuchi, 7,200, 3.82 FIP over his last 20, 4.12 over his last 5. Look, Yusei Kikuchi is just a guy that is very, very volatile. He can be extremely good. When he was on Toronto, Kevin Gausman was saying he has the best stuff of anybody in their team. And that can play up. Now he's in a very, very tough spot, but at 7,200, I am a little interested in trying to go with some leverage and go Kikuchi. We know Kikuchi, or I expect the Yankees to be moderately owned. Not only is the bullpen bad for the Angels, but Kikuchi has had some blow-up games. He allows some home runs, 42% fly ball, 32% hard contact, 7 barreled balls. There is absolutely the chance the Yankees could just dominate him, but I don't mind taking both sides of this game in different lineups for the reason that Kikuchi just has giant upside at 7.2K. I'm a little interested in him, and like I said, this is a 5-game slate, so we're going to have to get a little different, a little uncomfortable with our lineups to get different, and I think that's an interesting spot to do it. You also could go Tyler Wiemann at 8,600. My issue with him is just that he is priced pretty high, and he doesn't have a ton of upside in that K department. Now, let's get over to FanDuel. See what we got here as far as ownership. Matthew Boyd, 9,700, 37% owned. Makes a ton of sense that he's the highest owned pitcher on this slate. Love the spot. We got Zach Wheeler, and I'm glad he's here because we do need to touch upon it. This St. Louis versus Baltimore game, it's raining all day. There is a potential to play if they want a late start and play, but it could be a chance that we get a PPD. Then Atlanta versus Philly, it's literally raining all day long, all night long. I think that game is very, very much in jeopardy. Cincinnati, KC, there is also some rain concerns. However, I would expect that one to play. Just, do think about that one as far as if you're going to use Hunter Green, because there is some chance for delay there. That's just the worry there. All right, so back to Zach Wheeler. I really don't think this game plays, but he's super interesting if it looks like the game somehow does play. He's been great versus Atlanta. He's been great all season. We don't really need to overthink it. Clark Schmidt, we went over at 8,800, so he's, quite a bit more expensive over here, but he is less owned. I'm a little interested in there. George Kirby at 8,400. Going low owned is wild to me. I would have a ton of him, I think, over here on FanDuel. I will, however, be looking all day as far as if I can find any information about what his pitch limit could be. He's very good at home. This national team, while they have shown some promise and ability to hit, can also get totally shut out. They're still a very young team and sometimes don't put together great at bat. So I think Kirby is in a very interesting spot. I'm going to have some of him. Tyler Wiemann, for his likelihood of being able to go 6 innings, get the quality start, I'm a little more interested in him on FanDuel than I am on DraftKings. Now let's get into some good old stack attacks. So our high-owned stacks on DraftKings, we got Seattle versus Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams hasn't been good. FIP of 4.92 over his last 5, but 3.66 over the last 20. So over the big slate, 3.66 FIP is pretty solid. You may want to go elsewhere than Seattle. I don't mind stacking some Seattle, but the thing with them also, how they score runs is generally from hitting that long ball. So you could probably just take 2 or 3 of them and just do mini stacks with Seattle instead of big ones and get away from some of that ownership. We got Yankees versus Kikuchi. You got to love some Yankees in this spot. The chance of Kikuchi giving up a home run or 2 is very, very high, and the bullpen behind him is terrible. Yankees make a lot of sense, but I do like Kikuchi as well as a pivot leverage pitcher to get a bit different. High projected, we got the Cubs versus Tanner Gordon. Cubs have been hitting all season long. No surprise seeing them here. But they're projected high. Their ownership is, mild on this slate. Don't mind some Cubs. Yankees popping up too. We obviously like them. High value stacks. We got KC versus Hunter Green. Hunter Green has a 5.5 FIP over the last 5 games. If that continues, KC looks a little bit interesting. Texas is also popping up versus Paxton Schultz. Paxton Schultz, 4.28 FIP in his young career and allowing 2.43 fantasy points per plate attempts. That is not good. Colorado bullpen is also bad. Texas makes some sense to go there, and they are starting to hit a little bit. Berger, since he's been called up, has hit a few home runs, but he is a little bit boom bust. I'm a little interested in Texas. Not going to go super hard on them, though. Our high ceiling stacks, we got Cubs. Cincinnati's popping up versus Noah Cameron. Noah Cameron, 4.03 FIP. I don't mind going there a little bit. I think he might get juiced up a little bit throughout the day as far as a starting pitcher because he does have a 0.93 ERA. Just understand that comes with a 4.03 FIP. He is going to run into some major regression soon. Does it happen today? Maybe. Therefore, Cincinnati does make a little bit of sense. They also hit pretty well. Ellie De La Cruz had a giant game yesterday. Yankees popping up. And high leverage, we got Cincinnati. Like I just told you, Noah Cameron's due for some regression. There's some leverage here. Makes some sense to want to go with some Cincinnati. Washington versus George Kirby is not a spot I like to go to. Not only is George Kirby good, the bullpen is good behind him. Kirby just got it lit up for 5 runs. It is very doubtful he does that twice in a row. Could it happen, though? Absolutely. I just don't think it's very likely. Clicking the teams tab. 5 implied run total for the Cubs, 4.6 for both Seattle and Yankees. We've talked about them both. So we'll move to Texas at 4.5 and then Toronto at 4. We have not talked about them. They're against Tyler Mahle. Don't really love that opportunity or that stacking spot, but I don't mind a little bit. Angels, they do have those big bats. Clark Schmidt, while he's good, can get hit a little bit. The wind's blowing out. It's nice hitting weather. Absolutely a chance for a home run or two. So I don't mind some Angel stacks there. And then obviously leverage options in KC and Cincinnati make a little bit of sense, but we got to make sure that game plays. So that'll do it for us today, guys. I hope you guys have a good one. We will be back with more. I haven't looked at tomorrow's schedule, so I don't know if we have a DFS show tomorrow, but as long as there's 4 night games, I'll be back. You have a good one. If I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you Friday. Go make some money. Talk to you guys. Bye.